So at this point, you should have everything set up and ready to work with Flutter. So to check this, we type in Flutter Doctor, and we should see a whole bunch of green check marks pop up. So that means everything is installed that we need to work with Flutter, and we're actually ready to build the very first Flutter application. We're going to create a directory where we're going to keep all our projects. I'm going to call it 0 to mastery. 0 to master, we'll keep it. Let's go into that directory. And here, to create our very first project, we do Flutter, create, and then you give your project a name. For this name, I'm just going to call it demo. So that runs a command that creates a brand new project for you with a starter template. And we could see what that looks like by going into that folder and then typing a command called Flutter run. And since we have this iPhone open right here, this Flutter run command will run our project on this iPhone. And voila, there's your very first Flutter application. Now you better get used to seeing this because this is the starter application for basically every Flutter app that you will build. It's a nice, beautiful counter application that counts up the numbers for you, and you can play with it for as long as you want. This app is where all the Flutter magic starts. Let me show you one quick thing to get you excited. Let's open up this file in VS Code. So this is our Flutter project. We're going to go into the main file, and don't worry, we're going to go over all this. I just wanted to show you something cool. But if we update this color to be green, save it. If we go back to our terminal, we can hot reload it with a lowercase r. We'll go over what all of this is, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of magic. We click lowercase r, and just like that, our whole app changes to green. This is called hot reload. We're also going to talk about what hot restart is, but we're going to talk about all this sorcery in the very next lesson. For this one, I want to go over the Flutter structure and where we actually write the Flutter code. Heading back to VS Code, we saw this main file that we updated it. So this file is located within the lib folder. This is where you're going to write all your Flutter code. And usually you'll have some folders in here, so it's a little bit more structured and not just all messy written within the main.dart file. Then we also have a test folder. This is where you write all your tests to test the software using some automations, which we'll cover in one of the later lessons. The rest of these folders are platform specific. So you'll see we have Android, iOS, Linux, macOS, web, and even Windows. Now you won't have to use these folders very much, but there are things that you need to do within them. One big example is adding specific configurations for the platform. We're going to be doing this when we add our database. We're going to need to add network permissions for whatever platforms we're going to be building for. Now the last important file is this postspec.yaml file. So this file is where you add all your dependencies for your project. Here below you can see you can add your packages in here. Down below you can add assets, you can add fonts. Those are going to be the files and folders we're going to be working with. So in this lesson, we got our app running. I showed you a little sneak peek of the Flutter magic, but now let's get into exactly what kind of sorcery this was. But now let's get into what kind of sorcery was happening here when we changed that color so quickly.